Now, the next section of the Catechism is something I quote all the time to my friends, and I call my friends who have same-sex attraction. 2357, 2358, 2359 talks about chastity and homosexuality, showing that not only married people are called to chastity, single people are called to chastity, and people with same-sex attraction are called to chastity. So, Bishop Strickland, these three paragraphs, can we talk about how we're supposed to obviously respect the individual, but also share the gospel with them on what they need to do regarding their chastity if they have a same-sex attraction?
Absolutely. I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, is remembering that we are destined for everlasting life.
Amen.
Certainly, a lot of people with same-sex attraction and homosexual issues, that is a burden that they carry that really can be quite burdensome and can really be devastating for a person's life. But I think the devastation comes when the sexual aspect of who we are as men and women, it becomes all-consuming. It gets out of focus, not to get to anything inappropriate, but it's a beautiful relationship that you and your wife have.
Absolutely.
And sex is part of it.
Of course.
But it's only part of it. It's not the totality.
Nope.
And I think what gets distorted for people of same-sex attraction or opposite-sex attraction, where our sexuality gets distorted is when it takes a predominant place in our lives where it's out of proportion. There's a whole lot of wonderful aspects of living the human journey that are, and sex, according to God's plan, is when appropriately in the proper intimacy of marriage, it can be a great blessing as part of that life, but it's only part of it. And I think that we're in an age where your sexual orientation is seen as the totality of the definition of who you are. And that's such a poverty of the richness of who we are as people.
Yep.
Certainly, I think when we get on the topic of same-sex attraction and homosexuality, I think that we do have to speak very clearly about the bigotry and the hatred that has been associated with the way people have been treated before because of an orientation that they have.
Yep.
That should be spoken very clearly as not part of the Christian ethic. For someone to be treated with bigotry, treated with less than respect, and even sometimes coming to violence because of an orientation that they have, a same-sex attraction or homosexual orientation, or whatever variation, and there are a lot of variations, especially highlighted in today's world. Anytime there's bigotry associated with that, that is not of Christ. That is not living according to the Catechism. But I think we have a tendency now, it's almost like some of the apologies that we have for the mistakes that have been made in history. It's going too far.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic. But I think analogously, when we out of a good-hearted desire to right the wrongs of how people have been unjustly treated in the past, and maybe unjustly treated even in our day, simply because of a sexual orientation, that is wrong, absolutely. And we need to work against that tendency that is part of human society, for people that are different to be treated in a bigoted way and to be treated less than respectfully as less than children of God is absolutely wrong. But I think that has pushed us to a point where, treating these people, treating anyone with charity means turning a blind eye to sinful aspects of their lives. And that is simply not loving. It is not true charity to ignore that someone is living in a lifestyle or prone to a lifestyle that's sinful, that isn't ultimately going to be life-giving for them. It's not true charity to say, oh, well, that's your orientation, then that should be fine, and just live however you feel. It ultimately leads people down a blind alley because it's not according to how God made us.
Well
And
said. Well said,
it's a
Bishop.
challenge, but it's a challenge that we need to face according to the light of Christ.